All right, so let's work a couple of examples. So continuing on to page 227, the example in the middle of the page. It says, what is the amount if compounded continuously when P is equal to 100, so really the same numbers as before, T is 1 and R is 3%. So now plugging into that formula with the E, we would have A equals 100 times E to the 0.03 times 1. So this time when you go to plug into your calculator, you need to use the e to the x button. And again, practice this, and if you're not getting the correct numbers, then let me know so I can help you figure your calculator out. So you should get 103.05 rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay, next example at the bottom of the page. This time we're going to solve for P. So we'll look at the formula solved for P. So let's see, this one says find the P needed to get $800 after 3.5 years at 7% interest compounded monthly. So we're compounded monthly, so we want the bigger formula, and then to the negative nt. All right, so we're looking for P. So A is 800. So this is 1 plus R is 0.07 over 12, since we're compounding monthly. And then this will be to the negative 12 times T, in this case, is 3.5. So this is what you have to communicate to your calculator. Be careful that that exponent needs to be negative. Sometimes it's helpful to get a value for that product, so you're just taking it to that power. But you should get 746.07. So again, practice that and let me know if you're not getting the correct answers. All right, so let's take a look at two more. I actually typed out the questions just in case you didn't have your study guide in front of you so you could see what the numbers were. All right, so last two. Eddie's son will be going to college in 5 years. If Eddie needs to save $30,000 over the next 5 years for his son to go to college, how much should he invest now if he will get 3.5 interest? If you will get a 3.5 interest rate compounded continuously. All right, so we're compounding continuously, which means I'm going to use A equals P times E to the RT. All right, so what are we looking for, A or P? If Eddie needs to save $30,000 over the next 5 years, how much should he invest? So how much should he invest tells me that I'm looking for P. So P is what is unknown. So let's set this up using the P equals formula because that'll be easier to plug in to the calculator. Okay. So what else do we know? We know that we want to end up with 30,000. The interest rate is 30.5%, so that's 0.035. And we've got T equaling 5 years. Alrighty. So 3 times E to the negative 0.035 times 5. Alright, so plug that on into your calculator and you should get P equals 25183.71 rounded to the nearest hundredth. So I need to ask myself, does that make sense? So if the investment was around $25,000 because I wanted $30,000 in 5 years. So yeah, that makes sense. Because you want to figure if you had gotten some number, say, bigger than $30,000, then you'd know you made a mistake because you're investing an amount and you need to end up with 30 grand after the interest has accumulated. So you always want to take a look at that final answer and make sure it makes sense. Okay, so last one. How long will it take for an initial investment to double if the rate is 7%, and then we'll do it twice. We'll do it compounded continuously and compounded quarterly. So how long? How long tells me that I'm going to be looking for t. So t is what is unknown. All right, so the compounding continuously, I'm going to use a equals p times e to the rt. And for the compounding quarterly, we have to use the big formula. Okay, so how long will it take? We're looking for t to double an investment. So remember, we did one like this in class. So what is p? It really doesn't matter what you're investing. You just know that a is going to be double that amount. So I'm just going to call p, and a is going to be 2 times that number. And then the rate is given, and it is 7%, so 0.07. So this will be 2p is equal to p times e to the 0.07 times t is what we're looking for. Again, it doesn't matter what that investment is because it cancels. So I just have 2 is equal to e times 0.07t. So now to solve for my unknown, when the unknown is in the exponent, I'm going to apply natural log to both sides, because that means I can bring the exponent down. So that becomes 0.07t times the natural log of e. So just as an aside up here, what is the natural log of e? So that, remember, that means log base e of e. We kind of looked at this at the lab. If you just say, okay, that equals some number, this becomes e to the x equals e, so x must be 1. So the natural log, I don't know why I have that equal sign there, so the natural log of e is equal to 1. So back to the equation, I've got the natural log of 2 equals 0.07t times the natural log of e. That's just 1. So I just have this. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.07. So that cancels there, and t just equals this. So I'll plug that into my calculator and get, let's see, where is it? So t equals 9.90, so almost 10 years it'll take to double that investment at 7% compounded continuously. So now if I compound quarterly, same thing. I will have 2p is equal to p times 1 plus r is 7%, so 0.07 over, compounded quarterly would be 4. And then this would be to the 4 times t power, because t is what we're looking for. So again, those p's cancel, so I have 2 equals 1 plus 0.07 over 4 to the 4t. Natural log both sides. So I have natural log of 2 is equal to, I'm going to bring the 4t down, times the natural log of 1 plus 0.07 over 4. And now to get t by itself, so remember, I want t, which is right here, by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by everything but the t. So everything but the t. So t is equal to that quotient, natural log of 2 over 4 natural log 1 plus 0.07 over 4. And then I need to plug this number into my calculator, which I did not do, so let me do it. Okay, and so t is equal to 9.99. So you can see if it's compounded continuously, it happens just a little bit faster. Okay, so practice these. They're similar to the ones on the MyLabs Plus, and again, make sure you're able to enter those expressions into your calculator.